check. Just looking at the levels, looking strong. Okay. What are we doing? What's the plan? This is something I've gotten started off stream. My hope is to finish it here on stream. This is going to be a cathedral. Of course, cathedral music starts playing just right away. So this is sort of the first stone layer. There will be a lot of stone on this particular build. Each of these tiles is a little over an inch on either side, kind of going with a diagonal take. This is just a project board or whatever. And, yep, just kind of laying out, getting an initial base layer of stone down, and then we'll come back in with different layers to do more with it. So right now, the goal is just to get the rest of this covered, which I actually think is going to be fairly reasonable to do. We get a little bit wider here, which makes me a little bit nervous. There's a lot to do, but then we shrink back up. This feels very doable. It's nothing like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these things like I first thought it was going to need to be. So yeah, that's going to be the grind. That's what we're doing. And we'll see how long it takes to fill the rest of this 24-inch long building first floor. Okay. Never fails. Get the stream going. Cat needs something. It's all good. This is definitely the phase of any crafting or creative project in general where you sort of, it's like, oh yeah, this will get sped up. We'll speed up through this part. And that'll be nice. But you can't speed up doing it. This is just takes time. Not trying to be too super precise with any of this. The whole point is for these to be big hewn stones, so there's going to be a lot of variation. So this cathedral that I'm building is for a game that I have coming up, actually. And I'm trying something different with this one. The idea is that this is going to be sort of like a new home base for the players. But I'm not going to get it done in time for the first session where they play in it or where they see it. So, to adapt to that, what I thought I would try to do is at least have the entire first floor, this kind of layer, made and painted. So even at that point, you know, it's just sort of a reference, but a true reference. And then all the stone walls and things I can build up. I mean, they're gonna keep returning to this location, so it's not like it's a one and done. It's something that they're gonna need at least for I think a few sessions. Well, that is very flattering, Fitz. I appreciate that. I won't even challenge that too much. That feels like the type of thing that will just blow away with the wind if examined. I will just accept it and say thank you and say welcome, glad you're hanging out. Well, that one. This one is probably just a scrap tile. Some of these I end up cutting just a little bit too thin, but. So you say you are paper mini making. Gotcha. So is that, is there much design work involved in that, or is it a lot of sort of layout work to get everything to the size that you want? And I imagine a lot of printing and stuff like that with it too. But I don't know, are you illustrating the characters and stuff? I don't know how deep you go with it. Mike is a tad quiet again. Okay. I might also just need to talk more deliberately into it. That tends to help if I treat it like a mic instead of talking off to the side. Ah, assembly. Gotcha. Well, I don't think that my video today on Reddit's going to do anything like hit front page, but 4,000 upvotes is a new record for me. I've never had that before, so that's pretty cool. I'll take front page of the D&D subreddit for a day. I'll take it. Let's see. You said tonight's goal is the assembling of a bunch of Warforged to use for a group of them who don't have complete souls, so their murderous actions or their attempt to steal a soul to fill that gap. Sounds awesome. That actually reminds me, I read one of the comments I read today was somebody's their Warforged Paladin's backstory was that they had been trapped in the rubble of a castle for like 100 years. And I think that's one of my favorite Warforged backstories I've ever heard. Only because it's like, it's drama, but it's also a uniquely like Warforged drama. Like only they could experience that, really. Which makes for a really compelling backstory, I think. But yeah, I've never heard of the so your game you must have a concept of like I guess I've never I have a Warforged in one of my games, and so they exist in my world. But I've always left a lot of the mechanics of their creation and their existence up to sort of kind of hand-wavy, non-specific type of things. But I think that's interesting that they could see themselves as incomplete. I wonder if they could, I mean, they could even in theory be mistaken about that, right? They think that's what they need. It's like a bunch of Pinocchios just trying to be real boys, right? The last time that I ran a set of Warforged bent on attack, like they were antagonists, they were the threat. There was an inventor behind them. You say, my Warforged are inspired by the Dwemer from Skyrim, created by a long dead race of elves. As such, the older ones tend to fall apart and go a little nuts. I like it. Yeah, the only time in my world that I've really run Warforged as enemies, they were really more constructs than Warforged, but difference between these things is very minute anyway, and they were the result of an inventor's work, his plot, his scheme, and he's been taken out by my players, but taken out in such a way that the Warforged that he had created, or the constructs he was responsible for, were sort of now left rudderless. So that's kind of been in the back of my mind before, like what would kind of become of them. What would happen to a bunch of constructs with given less than noble instruction by a crazed inventor, and then at some point left without any clear direction?